order the Mentor City Council regular meeting of April 2nd, 2019. The invocation will be given by Councilman Donovan.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us to use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom with a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Here.
Mrs. Dowling? Here. Mr. Kirchner? Here. Mr. Krieger?
Here.
Mr. Landig?
Here.
Mr. Marne?
Here.
Mr. Blake?
Here.
Have the approval of the minutes for the work session for March 5th, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
And the regular meeting of March 5th, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
We have some Boy Scouts out there in the audience. I'd like to have you stand up and say your name and what troop you're with. Okay. All right. Enjoy the
Welcome.
meeting. Okay, the public hearings, we have none. Tabled legislations, we have none. New legislation, ordinance number 19-0-020.
An ordinance to authorize advances of funds and revisions to appropriations and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Malinowski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Members of council, this ordinance does two things. It authorizes an approval of a temporary cash advance in the amount of $30,000 from the city's general fund for the purpose of funding a federal grant. And then secondly, there's an appropriation revision in the amount of $1,275.51 to appropriate funds for a state grant, as noted in the staff memo. I recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel?
Move to suspend.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes. Move to approve.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ordinance number 19-0-020 has passed. Second reading, ordinance number 19-0-018.
An ordinance to proceed with the closure of Diamond Center Drive at the Mentor-Painesville municipal boundary and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. I have a few people who want to discuss this topic. I'm going to call them in order that I was received the forms. Understand when you come to the podium over here, you say your name and address, and you're limited to 4 minutes, just so everybody understands that, all right? The first person I have is Mr. Petros III.
Thank you, members of council. My name is Joe Petros, 3311 Ingleside Road, Shaker Heights. I'm an attorney representing Grand River Health and Rehab Center, the nursing home that's located on Brookstone Boulevard. Grand River requested that I appear here tonight on behalf of Grand River's employees, their residents, and their residents' families. Many of them are here this evening, and you will hear from them individually as well. Grand River's employees, their residents, and families are essentially innocent third parties that are caught in the middle of the dispute here between Mentor and the city of Painesville and Shamrock Development. Grand River doesn't take a position as far as Mentor's dispute, their funding dispute with those entities. Grand River, however, this council's decision to close Diamond Center Drive about 250 feet away from the nursing home's entrance will likely result in irreparable harm to Grand River, to its employees, to its residents, and to their families. The people who will be harmed the most by this closure are essentially mostly Mentor residents and Mentor businesses, not the city of Painesville and not Shamrock Development. Grand River has about 80 nursing home residents at any given time, and about 90% of those residents come from the city of Mentor. Grand River also employs about 75 people, and about 2/3 of those employees are Mentor citizens. The proposal to close Diamond Center Drive is especially concerning here because it prioritizes a financial dispute over the health and safety of Grand River's sick and elderly nursing home residents. Grand River often has residents who need to be transported to the hospital by ambulance in emergency situations. The quickest and the least disruptive route to the hospital from Grand River is via Diamond Center Drive to Heisley Road and then to the highway. By closing Diamond Center Drive, you will be cutting off that route and forcing ambulances to travel through residential neighborhoods. I spoke with an ambulance company that services Grand River, and they have significant concerns over this ordinance as well, about cutting off their direct access to the highway and forcing them to go through residential neighborhoods, which are not ideal for emergency vehicles. And the addition of even a few extra minutes in getting to the hospital can be a matter of life and death for a nursing home resident. And so we hope that this council will not vote to cut off nursing home residents' quickest access to the hospital simply based on a road funding dispute. Grand River also urges the council to consider the interest of the Mentor residents and businesses who will be affected. The closure will result in significantly longer commutes for employees and visitors to Grand River, especially for those coming from Mentor. The shortest detour from the Mentor side of the proposed blockade to the Paynesville side of the proposed blockade will be about 5 miles, and that's about a 15-minute drive. That could add up to essentially an extra 30 minutes for a Grand River employee from Mentor to their daily commute. And that's going to affect everything from child care arrangements to other aspects of their daily lives. Grand River's employees and their visitors and family members also patronize the businesses around the nursing home. And all of those businesses are Mentor businesses, and they're all on the Mentor side of the border. Closing the road will effectively cut off that source of customers for those businesses. And in our opinion, that's not in the interest of the city of Mentor. There are other options available here for Mentor in Mentor's dispute with Paynesville and Shamrock Development that would not result in harm to Mentor's own residents, to their businesses, and to elderly nursing home residents.
All right.
We urge this council not to adopt this.
Thank you, Mr. Petros.
Thank you.
Next, I have Megan Yanni.
Megan, Yanni, 346 Eagle Street, Apartment 2, Fairport, Ohio. I am the Activities Director at Grand River Health and Rehab. I'm here on behalf of myself, my coworkers, local businesses, and most importantly, my residents at Grand River. I am in opposition of this ordinance. As Activities Director, the residents and I frequently shop at the stores along Diamond Center Drive, and we eat at the various restaurants there. Each month, I spend the entirety of my activities budget at businesses on Diamond Center Drive. I buy bingo prizes and snacks and candy for the residents. I buy party supplies, food, drinks, you name it, all the fun stuff. Between Sam's Club and the Dollar Tree and the different restaurants, I spend hundreds of dollars each month at these businesses on Diamond Center. Additionally, as Activities Director, I take my residents on outings, many in a month's time. I take my residents to several locations, all on Diamond Center Drive. We frequently go out for lunch at restaurants. We go to the movies at Lou Cinemas. We go shopping at all the stores. By putting up the barricade, I will have no choice but to do my monthly supplies shopping elsewhere. I will have to take my residents on outings elsewhere. Not only would the barricade result in the businesses losing a regular and loyal customer base, but my residents would not be able to frequently go to their favorite restaurants like Ruby Tuesday and Dairy Queen, and they would not be able to shop at their favorite store like Dollar Tree and the future Menards. I hope that an agreement can be reached because this would truly have a negative impact on my residents and their livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is John Slater.
Good evening. My name is John Slater, and I'm a attorney with Tucker Ellis LLP. My address is 950 Main Avenue, Suite 1100, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. I represent the owners of the Village of Cobblestone Court and Cobblestone Court Apartments. The Village of Cobblestone Court has 130 units. The Cobblestone Court Apartments has 400 units. So a total of 530 units. We're not sure whether the proposal is for permanent closure of Diamond Center Drive or whether it's temporary. We've heard that there is some potential that it may be a temporary closure. But even with a temporary closure, there could be significant impact depending on the duration and also when it occurs. Depending on it is in a year cycle, we have individuals that come to the apartments rent where they choose schools or otherwise for their children or otherwise. So there's really some significant impact there. We just would like to understand more about the process. If it's temporary, if it's permanent, we obviously have a significant concern and we would object to any closure and believe it really is not necessary at this point. We looked at the applications of our residents just to get a sense of where they came from, where they worked at necessarily. Of our tenants, we have 360 that actually work in the city of Mentor. So there is a majority of our residents that live and reside in Paynesville at our apartments, but still work in Mentor. Also, they shop here in Mentor, as you hear from other the previous speakers. This could have a significant impact on the businesses in that community and obviously on our residents. Also, safety services, as has been addressed earlier, is also a significant concern. We would hope that the city, I know that they've worked hard on this issue, but would work to try to find a solution rather than closing Diamond Drive, and we ask for your consideration of that. We will continue to be involved, and again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next is Kaylee Herman.
Good evening. My name is Kaylee Herman. I live at 9976 High Country Drive in Chardon, Ohio, 44024. I'm here today to speak on my behalf as well as my family, my coworkers, my residents that were unable to make it. I work at Grand River Health and Rehab. I'm the director of therapy. I'm here to voice my opinion in my opposition to the barricade being put up at Diamond Center. I am very much in opposition to this being done because it will greatly affect me and my family and my residents, their safety, their family members, who I'm an advocate for as well. But I'm going to talk about how it's going to affect me. I currently live in Hampton Township, which is 28 minutes to work each way. And putting this barricade is going to add an additional 12 minutes each way, so to my daily commute of 24 minutes, which negatively impacts me and my children. My time is very precious to me, as I'm sure your time is very precious to you, and I know that an hour total a day doesn't sound like that much, but now an hour and a half being in the car, being away from my kids is very important to me. I don't want that to happen. I only get to spend 2.5 hours with them now every day after work before bedtime, but putting that barricade up will take away valuable time from spending with my children, and it will delay me picking them up. And then also going to affect me financially because now I have to spend extra money for extra time that they're in childcare. I also frequent shops in the storefronts at Diamond Center, and this is going to inhibit me from going there. Obviously, I'm not spending an exorbitant amount of money, but it will still negatively impact those storefronts. So I appreciate you for listening to me and for your time, and I hope that you could come to a more favorable decision of not putting the barricade up.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And last is Dixie Miller.
Hello, my name is Dixie Miller. I live at 7371 Holly Park Drive, Concord, Ohio, on the Menor border. I'm here on behalf of myself and my siblings and my mother, who is a resident at Grand River Health and Rehab. I frequently go see my mother a couple times a week. Excuse me. I go down Heisley Road and down Diamond Center to see her. I take her out shopping, which is to the Dollar Tree, to the Dairy Queen. That's very important to her and to me. For my siblings, they both live east, or all live east and west of Heisley Road, so they take Route 2 to Heisley and come down the Diamond Center Drive. My brother is a driver for Lake Tran, who does a lot of dial ride with Grand River Health and Rehab, and this barricade will negatively impact him, and I really feel that it will negatively impact myself and my mother, because I also take care of my 98-year-old mother-in-law, so adding on the extra amount of time it's going to take me to go all the way around to get over to see my mom could hurt the fact that my mom and I enjoy being together, and I try to go see her as much as possible. And with that barricade, I'm very much opposed to it, and I would appreciate anything that you could do by not to have this barricade. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
Having said that, ordinance number 19-0-018. You have to read it, right? Oh, you did read it, I'm sorry. Counsel, what's your pleasure?
There's no questions. I'll move to suspend.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes. Ordinance number 19-0-018 has passed. Third reading, we have none. Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have one pavement open cut request. The request is from Aqua, Ohio, for work to be performed by JTO for a water line disconnect at Tyler Avenue and Reynolds Road. This is to disconnect to make the new Starbucks possible. Ask for council's approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
John.
Julie, call the roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bruce one.
Sorry.
Bruce Landig?
Yeah, it said in the report the curb stop, they were going to dig down and close that curb stop. I'm curious why there wasn't a curb stop at the surface level of the pavement to shut that valve off.
Yes,
They're going to remove the connection from the main. So I couldn't say why there wasn't anything at the surface, but their standard practice is to remove that connection, any valve that would be in place. So that in the future it wouldn't be hit accidentally by any future.
Right, but JTO described it as digging down because there is no way to reach and turn that curb stop off. So
They're attempting to remove it from the main. Is their goal.
that's what they're really doing?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a curb stop to shut that off?
He indicated in his letter, it wasn't indicated on the plan that there was a curb stop at that location.
Yeah, for a 5-foot pigtail, their risk is low to leave it. I just don't like cutting pavements because they don't have a curb stop to shut off their own connection.
And it really was they want to sever the connection from the main, and that's been Aqua's practice for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
No.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Thank you, council. This week is the first week of the city's annual yard waste collection program. As in past years, the yard waste will be collected weekly on the same day as your regular garbage collection. The limit is 12 units of yard waste from now through October. After that point, the cap is raised to 25 units. This week, the Civil Service is conducting the assessment center portion of our promotional testing for the ranks of Fire Deputy Chief, Fire Battalion Chief, and Fire Lieutenant. This is the final step of the testing process with promotions for all 3 ranks anticipated by early May. We also want to offer congratulations to Mike Majernik, who just last week was sworn in as our most recent police captain. Congratulations to him. A few other notes on the recreation side. On Saturday, April 6th, the VA and Boy Scouts will hold a flag burning ceremony at our Menor Cemetery at 10 a.m. Also, I think we confirmed just before the meeting got started that we will be having a ceremony to commemorate or really dedicate Springbrook Gardens Park that will take place on April 23rd, which is a Tuesday at 5 p.m. We invite the public out to join us for that. And Council, I thought I'd give you just a quick update on how we did at the conclusion now of our deer management program for the year. So through the culling efforts, we did remove 80 deer citywide. That was exactly the number of permits that we were allocated this year. We also removed 54 excuse me, animals by hunting, and the total deer vehicle accidents were 34 in 2018. That's all.
You're making me do it now, too.
Can't talk anymore.
Choking up there. Clerk's correspondence?
Council is in receipt of Menor Municipal Court 2018 annual report and their month-end report for February 2019.
Commission committee reports. We have the meeting minutes for the Board of Zoning and, of Building and Zoning Appeals for February 12th, 2019. The Municipal Planning Commission for February 14th, 2019. And the Tree Commission for February 24th, 2019. Old business, we have none. New business, we need to cancel our May 21st council meeting as a majority of council will be out of town for other meetings.
Move to approve.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Did you want to go in executive session or anything?
Mr. Krieger, I was reminded by Mr. Donovan that Ken Kaminsky's son participated in the National Division II basketball championships, and they came out on top. So congratulations. Ken.
Congratulations.
Pass that along to your son on our behalf. There's no other news. I'll move to adjourn.
Second.